Okay, welcome to the next instalment of this in-depth, nerdy look at the masterpiece that is Marquee Moon. And in this section I'm going to be discussing what I'm going to call the pre-chorus and the chorus. So I don't know if those are quite the correct terms, but for me the pre-chorus is the bit where you've got the bit that starts like that. So let's begin there, and that's Richard Lloyd's part, but I want to start by just going over the chords that you can hear in the other speaker, so the Tom Verlaine part, and I think that goes like this. Quite simple chords there. There is a bit of a weird timing thing which you've got to watch out for, which I'm going to talk about. Beginning with a C chord, I think it's a C major 7, so if you just play a C chord, lift up your first finger, you add in the open B string, that's the major 7th. Then we're going to B minor. You could play it like this, just a regular old 5th string root B minor bar chord. I'm actually playing it like this, so a partial B minor chord, just playing the top 4 strings, so frets 4, 4, 3, and then I've got an open top string in there as well, so I guess it's kind of giving you that the 4th or the 11th. I'm kind of hearing that open string on the recording, and then I'm coming down to an A minor. Then we go round that cycle again, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then one more time, and then when we hit the A minor on the 3rd time round, just adding in a little embellishment, so I'm putting my pinky down at the 3rd fret on the top string, and then we're just striking that chord again, and then finally I'm just lifting my pinky up and then putting it down again. But let me address this timing thing. I mean, for me it feels very natural. I've kind of lived with this song for 20 or 30 years, so I'm not kind of worried about sort of counting beats in this particular tune, but it is a potential spot where you might get lost or confused. So the one way that you could count it out, I think, is we go to 3, 4, so we're counting measures of 3, just for a couple of bars of that before we go back to 4, 4. So it starts off just in regular 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. We go around again, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it switches to 3, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Then it resets back to 4, 4 again. So that's the way I would count that section. You know, I'm not sure how they would be. The actual band would be thinking about that. It might just be one of those things that you're kind of feeling, and that's often the best approach with odd meter stuff. Just try and feel where these phrases start and end. So that's the Verlaine part. Then in the other speaker we've got Richard Lloyd playing this melodic single note part, and again notice how well these parts work together. You've got the spaciousness of the chords, and then you've got a slightly busier single note part in a higher register, and it's rhythmically more busy as well. So often that's a good way to go with 2 electric guitar arrangements. You need to leave space for one another. You know, Verlaine could have played that kind of thing, but he's not doing that. You know, perhaps a lesser band might have done something like that, but Verlaine knows to leave space, so it's letting the chords hang. It lets the track breathe, and it gives room for the other guitar parts. So that's a really good tip, I think, if you're trying to arrange things for 2 electric guitars. But as for the specifics of the Lloyd part, it's all based on this kind of scaly melody. I'm playing it in the 7th position at the 7th fret, and it's really based on the D Mixolydian mode. So the way you can play that here, if we've got a D root note here at the 7th fret, and then 9, and then over onto the B string, 7, 8, 10, and then 7, 8, 10 on the top string as well. So that's the Mixolydian scale, the Mixolydian mode. And the actual part starts on the second note of this scale, the E, and it goes like this. Just climbs up the scale, then jumps to this high D and comes down. And that repeats. And again. So that's 3 repeats of the same thing. Then it goes into 3, 4, and it changes slightly. We've got. So we're starting at the 10th fret on the B, coming down, and up to here, and then we skip to the high D again, and end it like that. So it's D, C, B, A, ending on the B. Again, watch out for the timing there. So just the last time through the melody, we've got in 4, 4, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's the way I would count that. So that's our pre-chorus part. Again, like with the main riff, this is quite a nice one to play with a looper. So you could load the chords into a looper pedal and then play the single note melody over the top, and you can hear how those two parts work together. Then we're into the chorus, and life in the hive puckered up my night is the lyric there. That's something I could never quite hear when I was listening to it as a kid, but that's confirmed by the lyric sheet. And it's beginning with the Verlaine part, and he's just playing a kind of hit on a D chord or a D power chord, and we've got this kind of thing. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So again, quite a spacious, simple part. It leaves room here for the vocal melody. So just starting, as I say, you can play a full D chord. I'm not always hearing this F sharp, so you might just want to play a D power chord. You know, one sort of suspicion I've got is that Verlaine might be tuned down to drop D for this tune. It certainly works really well. He's not actually playing the low E string much at all in this track, so it's a bit hard to say, but you know, it could be that you can drop that D down and then you get those really big thick D chords or D power chords. I think I'm just hearing a single low D note in the guitar solo, but certainly live he does tend to be playing this in drop D, so that's, you know, one thing that you can try. Otherwise this is straightforward. We're just playing the D chord, letting that hang, and then playing a C chord. So I'm just playing a little bit of a 16th note rhythm on a C chord, and there is a little rhythmic thing to watch out for once again. And when you're playing those D chords, you're actually coming in on the and of 1, so that's definitely something to watch out for, because it does sound quite unusual. So when you hear that chord hit, the whole band comes in on the and of 1. So it's 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and I'm just playing a little 16th note strum on the C chord. 1, 2, 3, just repeats. 1, 2, 3. Down under the Marquee Moon. And then right at the end of the chorus, we've got this G chord or G major 7 chord. So it's a bit hard to hear what Verlaine is doing here, but one option would be to play it like this. So this won't actually work if you're tuned down to drop D. You could just play the top strings there, but you can play 3rd fret on the low E string. I'm muting the 5th string, then open, 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 and 2 on the top string. That's our major 7. And just again strumming that chord, letting it hang at the end of the chorus. Then in the other speaker we've got the Richard Lloyd part, and once again the nice contrast between the two guitar parts, the spacious chords. Lloyd is playing a single note part in the higher register. So what he's doing is something like this. We've got actually this sounds better with some distortions, so just put this on. We've got played on the top string. I'm starting off at the 10th fret, just playing that 3 times, and then pulling off from 12 to 10 and then bending at the 12th fret. And taking that same idea higher, so the same kind of thing at the 14th and 15th fret. So, and then at the 17th fret, and here we just play that note and let it hang. Timing on this, it's coming in slightly unusual place. I'm hearing it as coming in on the and of 3, so there's a bit of a pause after you've got that D chord hit that Verlaine plays. So it's 1 and 2 and 3. So that's the timing on that. Also important, give it a little bit of vibrato as well on this part. You can hear quite a strong vibrato. That the sound is a bit more distorted as well. I mean, this part sounds to me like it's kind of overdubbed because it's quite a different tone to Lloyd's main rhythm sound. So that's a possibility here as well. But just the complete part one more time. We've got 1 and 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we've got this beautiful part. So, really pretty part. This kind of overlaps with the main melody. So this is, I imagine this was kind of Lloyd's main rhythm part that he played live, and then he perhaps overdubbed the lead guitar melody. But what you can actually do if you want to play both of those parts at the same time is just kind of cut this lead part a little bit short and go straight into the chord strum. And what we've got here is it's another G major 7 chord. So we had G major 7 down here. I think Lloyd is playing it here. So up at the 10th fret we've got the root note here, 10th fret on the A string, and then we've got 12, 11 and then 12. So just strumming that chord. And then we've got this little embellishment. So I'm just shifting my pinky up to the 13th fret and then sliding back down to 12, and then just arpeggiating down the chord, sliding down the A string, and then finishing the chorus with just a strum on an open D chord. So like that. You could actually play that same thing here. That was how I always used to play it in this position here, but checking video footage, Lloyd does tend to play it up here. It's got a slightly different tone if you play it at the 10th fret. So there we have the pre-chorus and chorus parts. Get that together, and then I'll see you in the next video when we're going to start looking at some of the epic guitar soloing that we've got in this tune. So I'll see you for that soon.